Alright, so I've returned to Manda Island in order to pursue a side quest that takes place here. Legends 2 doesn't have a lot of side quests, but there are like one or two that are interesting to look at. This one involves a minigame. So we're at the mayor of Manda Island's house. She's not that important a character, but she is quite gorgeous, is she not? Anyways, this dialogue actually changes if none of the buildings were destroyed in the fight with Tron, because, you know, why ask for donations for a town that's not completely destroyed? But she doesn't just want donations, she wants you to pass her quiz. Yes, this is a quiz minigame. Capcom does have a couple of quiz games under their belt, but I actually find the quiz minigame kind of annoying. I mean, it doesn't really have anything to do with fighting or using the game engine. None of the questions have anything to do with Mega Man, actually, except for one question that will come up in a couple of questions here. So, before I talk about the quiz itself, I want to point out that the NPC you are currently looking at actually served as inspiration for one of the NPCs in Mega Man Battle Network. Her name is Yai, and her NetNavi in Battle Network was Glide. Yes. There are Legends references all over Mega Man Battle Network, as you have probably figured out by now. So yes, all of the questions have to do with world history, American history, maths, all kinds of things that I don't really know if the people of the Mega Man Legends universe would actually know a thing about. But anyhow, this quiz is almost done. The rewards you get are a couple of key items for another side quest later. The first time you pass the quizzes for the two students next to the mayor, you will get one key item. You can take their quizzes over and over again to obtain extra healing items. Yes, our reward for completing this quiz is a simple pencil. What a great reward. But actually, having a stock of healing items is pretty good for later fights in the game. I don't know if it's possible to re-earn the healing items after you've already won them one time and consumed them, but, you know, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I never bothered because I don't really like the quiz minigame that much. You'll notice me pausing on occasion whenever a tough question comes up. That's because I was looking up the answers in an FAQ. Yeah, sue me. How am I supposed to know how many degrees the interior angle of a pentagram is? It's been like 10, 15 years since math class. Okay, maybe I should know that. And maybe I should know this one too. It's actually not difficult to know that Buckingham Palace is not in Paris. Oh yeah, this is the question that actually has to do with Mega Man Legends. What is the name of Tron's brother? Teasel, of course. Everybody knows that. Which of these isn't a fish? Well, I guess it's a whale. Whales aren't fish, are they? Come on, me. You're highlighting the correct option. Wow, I took a long time on that one. What year was the first Crusade launched? Thank you, Castlevania. I know the answer thanks to Lament of Innocence. Sort of, I guess. Who was the leader of the Italian Unification movement? Jeez, these are difficult. I didn't even learn this in school. Garibaldi. Okay. Which of these American cities is furthest north? Let me look up my map just a moment here. It's Chicago. Belgium declared independence in 1831 from which country? Let's see. It's nearest to the Netherlands. Perfect. Alright. So we get notes. Notes on what? Okay, so anyways, moving on to the mayor's quiz. It actually costs 200 zenny for every attempt at this quiz, which is not much, but if you get a lot of questions wrong, I guess you could end up spending a lot on this quiz. Still, 200 zenny is like a drop in the bucket. It's less than a drop in a bucket. It's like, it's 200 zenny. That's all I gotta say. Okay. Now, if you complete the mayor's quiz, there's actually another item you can get from her in addition to the prize for this quiz. But I'll, wait a little while to show that. He named his guitar. Oh, this one is easy. Anybody with even the slightest hint of knowledge of Japan, such as myself, would know what the art of folding paper is called. Let's see. How many atmospheres can a 30-meter water resistant... Wow. If you sever one of a starfish's arms, what happens? It grows into a new starfish. That's almost gross. But it's true. Right, so sometimes the game will repeat questions, and hey, check this out. Sneak Street Fighter reference. It's a question about boxing, and one of the answers is Balrog. I'm actually surprised. You know, due to the name changes in Street Fighter 2, you'd think they would make a mistake and put Bison's name there, but okay. You know, that's a nice attention to detail there. They accounted for the Street Fighter 2 name change. Which of these led to an attack on British ships? I should have known that one. The Tea Party still exists. I should have known that one. Alright, so last question. And the answer is that. So for this, we get a textbook and an Energizer pack, which is a Buster part. It's a really terrible Buster part. So you might be wondering, what was even the point of this entire quiz minigame, because the Energizer pack is a really, really bad Buster part. It doesn't even increase attack. Speaking of which, I should equip a third Buster part. So it turns out that there's another quiz here, or you can skip it by paying a price to buy the prize directly instead of taking the quiz. 2 million Zenny! 2 million Zenny for one development item, or you can take a 100-question quiz! This makes Who Wants to Be a Millionaire look like child's play! Wow. Okay, so I'll see you in like 20 minutes when I get done with this quiz! Oh my god, 100 questions. This is the last one. What was the title of Huey and Lewis and the News' 1983 hit? Sports. I'm never doing that ever again. Not even to re-record this obviously glitched footage. The Zet Saber? That's the prize? That's what you wanted 2 million Zenny for? A toy sword that eventually develops into the blade arm? Okay, so about the pencil, textbook, and notes. If you take them to Shu on Calbania Island, she will use the 3 items to teach her brothers how to read and write. This leads to a couple Easter eggs later on, but for now, it actually gives you an increase in positive karma. And if we head back to Manda Island, you can also get positive karma by paying to have the village restored, assuming at least one building was destroyed. You just talk to the girl and continue paying her money in donations until she stops accepting donations, which is probably less than 5,000 Zenny. I can't remember exactly. But if you pay her enough money, then you exit and re-enter the village, you will find that not only are all the buildings back, Mega Man's armor has gotten a little bit lighter, which shows that you've gotten a positive karma increase again. So, oh yeah, and if your karma is very, very high, you can actually talk to some of the animals. And they have things to say, not very interesting things, but it's neat. So what happens if your karma is really, really high? Well, if you do enough events that give you positive karma, you'll be in for a surprise when you visit one of the stores. I'm gonna visit the general store here. If you have enough positive karma, then the shopkeepers will actually reduce the prices of all their items by 20%, which is a really nice bonus. You can really only take advantage of this if you start the game on normal mode, because one of the events that gives you positive karma is completing the license tests. On any other difficulty, you can't take those tests, so you miss out on the positive karma. The only repeatable event to give you positive karma is donating Zenny to the church to the tune of 1 million Zenny for any noticeable karma increase. So yeah. Oh yeah, and there aren't enough one-time positive karma events to get you to the point where the shop prices get reduced. without the license test, so there's that. Anyways, I purchased 2 more items for the Flutter, which means we now have enough positive karma with Roll to trigger another event. When Roll likes you enough, you will find that the ship's cockpit is surprisingly empty. Well, Roll's taking a bath, so I guess we have to wait for her to leave the bathroom. Or we could go and just, you know, knock on the door. See if she's going to be out soon. I have to get another picnic lunch anyways, because I keep eating those. But of course, Roll's perfectly happy to keep making me food, no matter how many times I eat it. So, hey, Roll, are you going to be out of there soon? I'm surprised Mega Man can't see her through the window. Well, I guess we'll just enter and...
Eek! What do you think you're doing?
What? What was that? I've got no comment. They did it again. And they kept the fist pump this time. That's... wow, just knock on the door, dude. You did that on purpose. I officially think you did it on purpose. But when you get the bathroom event, it causes another event to occur. When you go to the development room, Roll will announce that she has a new toolkit that will reduce the cost of all weapon upgrades by 10%. Yes! Apparently she doesn't mind being accidentally walked in on in the bathroom. Yeah. Not that 10% off means much, considering how expensive the weapon upgrades already are. So, we're going to use the Hyper Shell on the next mission here. And I should also mention that you can make the people of the world hate you enough that your armor turns black. If that happens, it unlocks a side quest. However, all shop prices are increased by 20% from the base, so you probably don't want to take on that side quest for a very long time, if at all, because the item you get develops into a weapon that is very much not worth it. If Roll hates you enough, she will increase the cost of weapon upgrades by 10% from the base. Anyhow, we are taking the second key back to the ship. And now we are going to head to a desert island for key number 3. Now, Salkara Island has the maybe not the third, but it has the final optional dungeon. You need an S-Class license to enter it, but you are not going to see it. I'm going to do this dungeon, but you are not going to see it. Why? Because it's underwater, and it's very slow, none of the enemies are new, and it just has the jellyfish fight from Nino Island as its boss. So, there's nothing new to see there. I don't feel like commentating over it. I still have the footage, so if you really, really want me to show it, I guess I'll upload it in a separate video or something. I don't know. Oh yes, there's a Super Ball now on sale, and we can now buy Power Razor Alpha, which will give +4 to our Buster's attack power, and Rapid Fire Alpha for +4 to Rapid. These are some very, very good Buster parts, and we also have the Padded Helmet. This item is the second out of the 2 helmets in Mega Man Legends 2. Wow. The Padded Helmet has the additional effect of allowing you to automatically tumble dodge when you are hit by an attack that does not knock you down, which doesn't seem very good. However, it should be pointed out that the later armors carry the additional effect of resisting knockdown more and more as you upgrade them. So, with a combination of the Padded Helmet and armor, you can reduce the chances of being knocked down, and you can also tumble dodge automatically when hit, which is a huge damage reducer overall, because if Mega Man gets comboed, he's going to take a lot of damage. Anyhow, as I was saying, we can now max out our Buster's attack power, and it's probably going to stay that way for quite a while. The Super Ball and the Bomb Schematic make the Reflector Arm, which is the most useless weapon in the game, and you will never see me use it. All it does is shoot balls that bounce off of walls. But what does it matter that they bounce off of walls when you're going to be aiming at the enemy anyways? Now, I've been rambling for quite a bit. So let's land here in this desert oasis.
We've gotten reports that Kimotomo City's been taken over by the Bonds. That's why I had to land out here. The city's in the desert to the north. Before we can get to the ruins, we've got to help the people in the city.
Yes, we know. How much you want to bet that Roll's going to try enjoying that oasis when she knows Mega Man can't peep at her? Okay, so out here in the desert, you can actually run into the Bond's robots. They will attack you at random. And there are also a neat little thing here. There are a couple of sinkholes here.
Watch out, Mega Man. It looks like there's a sinkhole. I've heard that there are landmarks that can help lead you to the city. Can you see anything?
I'll just check my map, thank you very much. There are a couple landmarks, though, which is a neat detail. Alright, so here are what the robots that the Bonds have for us this time.
Don't waste too much time, Mega Man. Just ignore the Bond robots and get to the city.
Oh, shush. So that robot has a paralyzing gas attack, which doesn't really mean much. And if you hang around long enough, a flying ship can come in and shoot at you as well. So yes, like I said, I'm going to do this dungeon, but you're not going to see me actually do it. It's underwater, that's very slow. None of the enemies are new. The wall textures aren't even that new. Like, I do eventually show off that I got 2 development items from that dungeon. I think they both go towards the same weapon, and the refractor you get is worth 100,000 zenny. So, you saw me briefly demonstrate the Hyper Shell. It is basically a bazooka that fires an explosive shell, and the explosion radius can be increased through weapon upgrades. It's not a bad weapon, really, but I don't really like it too much myself.
Mission start!
So here we have what is probably got to be one of the most pumping tunes in the entire game. I really like the music here. And this mission is actually pretty cool. Now you get to take down the Bonds in a city they've taken over themselves. Does he open those doors with his cannon? Anyways, so here's the Hyper Shell in action. You can see that it can kind of hit this robot behind the wall it's hiding behind. Also, that was pretty smart of them to hide behind the wall like that. But it's not really doing a lot of damage. I think most of the explosions have to hit the same enemy in order to concentrate the damage and really do a lot at once. That, or I could upgrade the attack power, which is pretty costly. Like, this is another one of those weapons that's really expensive and you should just use the ground crawler anyways. Let's ignore all of those enemies because I don't want to waste ammo on them. Alright, so in this area, this is actually an optional side of the city, but we are going to free a couple of hostages that are locked away behind those cannons. We can't exactly reach them with a Hyper Shell from this range, and I don't exactly want to take a bunch of gun bullets to the face, so let's flank them by sneaking through the buildings instead. I'm actually pretty surprised that somebody's house has like 2 doors like that, and a little alleyway here with a bunch of pots with Zenny in them. I'll just collect a little advance on my reward when I'm done with the pirates, thank you very much. Not that this is even that much, so this is really just a really poor amount of money to steal. Alright, so now we flank the cannon from behind. Even if it was facing us, it probably couldn't shoot us at such a close range. And you can see that my buster shots are probably more powerful than the Hyper Shell when shooting at this thing at least. Wow, what a pathetic turret. It did not have any life at all. And I should probably take care of these guys before I try and grab that key that the cannon dropped.
Is there a key around there somewhere? You should be able to use it to open the door.
Well, I'm trying to destroy the robots here. Could you maybe save it for later? Yeah. Naturally, you are probably thinking that this would be 10 times easier with a ground crawler. I mean, I probably wouldn't even need to flank those guys if I had the ground crawler, but I don't want to use the same weapon in like every scene from here until the end of the game. So I'm really doing that for you. So in this room, there are 2 NPCs here. If you are wondering what was even the point of coming to save these 2 guys, you'll see in just a moment. Just wait, it's pretty awesome. I should also mention that apparently takoyaki is a favorite among the islanders here. And in fact, in the Japanese version of this game, takoyaki was Mega Man's favorite food, but they changed it to pizza in the English release. Kind of a 4Kids-esque dub change, but not a huge one. I'm sure most players would be left wondering what takoyaki even is. I'm not even sure, and I'm the one telling you all this. Alright, so this other door here is where you're supposed to go. The one in the center is completely locked. So we have a couple of surf bots. Well, there's a surf bot on top of the railing there. Just to hint at the robots in the next room. It's a bunch of traps and a bunch of surf bots throwing bombs. Of course, you could just jump past all of them and open the door, but, you know, I want to shoot these guys because I like abusing surf bots. And I also like destroying parts of the city, even though I could have minimized the damage and saved everyone a ton more money. So, in this area of the city, they've really set up their defenses here. They've got electrified fences, cannons, and they've also got mines in the floor. I think you can deal with them by lifting those boxes, but I never tried seeing if they were actually liftable. But what you're actually supposed to do is come over here.
Hey there! Thanks for helping me out there. Let me return the favor. No need to thank me. Just hop on.
Thanks, mister.
I'll teach them to try to take over our city. They messed with the wrong people. Get ready to jump. I'm gonna ramp. The rest is up to you.
Wow, I think I have a new favorite NPC. That was awesome. Dude just drives his truck into the minefield to explode all of the mines, run over the electric fences, and severely damage the tanks to save us a lot of trouble in getting through the area. Yeah, that's why you save those two NPCs. Of course, you can get through this without saving them, but come on, that was the most awesome scene ever. It was totally worth it. Alright, so now we're in an area with a shop in case you need to restock on stuff. And here's where I show what I got from the ruins. I think. Yes, here they, well, there's a couple of items for sale that I could probably buy. Nah, I'm not interested. Even with the price cut, they aren't that interesting. So yes, Refractor S, 100,000 Zenny. I also picked up a sensor and Mechanic Note 6. Of course, 4 and 5 are in the dungeon with the key in it.
Maybe you can find something there.
Yeah, there's a locked door a little bit later on, and it turns out that the Surfbots left the key behind that stall. Nice job, Surfbots. If you had done a better job keeping the key to yourselves, I probably wouldn't have been able to even make it to the boss. So just a couple more areas and then we've got the boss. Now the boss is interesting because there's really two ways it can go. What the boss has done is he has stolen one of the city's gold statues, and you can either get through the fight with destroying it or without destroying it. Of course, I'm going to end up destroying it because destroying it changes his attack pattern.
Careful, Mega Man. I'm reading a large energy source behind that wall. It's probably the bomb's robot.
Listen up, everybody! Take everything of value that isn't nailed down, you hear me? I mean everything! I don't want there to even be a toothpick left, got it?
Mr. Tizo, we collected all the food and supplies and loaded them in the ship. What should we do with the toilet paper?
We may be pirates, but we're not barbarians. We'll let them keep the toilet paper.
Yes, sir!
I just can't believe we don't even have enough money left to get new stock for the store. I guess I have to face facts. We'll have to close shop. And here I thought maybe we'd be able to walk the straight and narrow for once. Wait a minute. Maybe I'm giving up too easy. If we can get our hands on the mother lode, we'd at least break even. That means...
Mr. Tizo?
Huh? Oh, don't tell me he's here already!
Sorry.
Oh, come on, you guys! Those machines are cheap, you know! Hey, Tron! Can you hear me? How are things at your end?
Tron here. We've more or less figured out where the key is. Now all we have to do is figure out how to get inside.
Good work, you two! You be careful down there, all right?
Is he there already, Tizo?
Yeah, it looks like it, sis. But don't you worry. I will take care of him.
You be careful yourself, big brother.
Leave it to me, sis. All right, everybody, are you ready? Let's get that blue boy once and for all.
Yes, sir!
Huh? What's that?
Long time no see, Blue Boy. It's been a while, hasn't it? I hope you haven't forgotten about me or what you did to me. If you think this time will be like the last one, you're in for a big surprise. See this? This here statue is the symbol of this town. It's a cultural treasure. It's more important to them than anything. What do you think would happen if it got destroyed, Even if you don't care what the people here think about you if it's destroyed, just think about how much it would cost to replace it. It's solid gold. Who knows how much it's worth? If you don't get in our way, I'll put it back where it belongs before we leave, okay? All right then, get going. Get out of here.
Don't listen to him, Mega Man. He's just a pirate. Do you think he'll keep his promises? He probably plans on stealing it anyway. Even if it's destroyed, the people might forgive you.
Don't worry, Roll. I can beat him without damaging the statue.
What are you babbling about to yourself? I said get out of here. If you don't, I'll make you leave.
Yay, the German theme is back. Alright, so the way this fight works is that Teasel starts by standing on the platform just above the entrance to the ruins, no less, and he will hide behind the statue if he's shot. Meanwhile, you've got the serve bots in little drill robots trying to ram into you and explode. Now, if you shoot at the statue too much, it'll be destroyed, and Teasel will change his attack pattern. Now, before the statue is destroyed, you can actually get through this fight without destroying it if you very carefully shoot at him once every now and again and stay off of that middle platform, because he'll just hide under the statue if you are too close to him. Now there appears to be a weak point on this robot. Like, if you shoot him enough, he'll stagger, and that will let you shoot at him a little more without damaging the statue. Of course, if you want to get through this without damaging the statue, the best way to ensure that this doesn't take forever is to bring the ground crawler, because it does a pretty good amount of damage to him, and it also makes him stagger. The staggering part is important because on the higher difficulties, he will actually not stagger as much, so it's much harder to destroy him without damaging the statue. Of course, now that the statue is destroyed, he will now, like, go all out with his offense here. He will dive under the sand, which, by the way, is quicksand, in case you didn't notice. And you have to wait for him to do something other than that jumping move, like right here. If he's just sitting in the sand like that, you can hit him with even the hyper shell, and it'll do a nice amount of damage. Otherwise, you have to shoot the fin with your buster. And that can be a little bit tricky, because even though you're following him with a lock-on, you kind of have to get the fin to move towards you in order to be able to hit it with just your buster. Anyhow, this isn't difficult. This is all of his attacks, actually. Just flying through the air while shooting a bunch of missiles, and then just kind of taunting you by sitting in the sand like that. Anyways, I normally beat him without damaging the statue, but I wanted to show off what he does if you do. And the Surfbot gets the last laugh.
That little punk, he didn't even care about the statue. Inconceivable! What was he thinking? That statue was a cultural treasure of this island.
All the food and supplies we gathered have also been destroyed, Mr. Diesel. We have nothing left to sell in the store.
It's up to Tron and Bond, and we have to get the mother load. If we don't, I don't know what will happen to us. We won't even be able to pay rent. We'll be homeless.
Mr. Diesel!
All right, everyone. We've lost. Let's get out of here.
Hey, Mega Man! Don't think we're finished! You haven't seen the last of Diesel Bond!
Good work, Mega Man. Now that the bonds are gone, I was able to move the flutter into the city. And
Thankfully, we don't need to go to an entirely different island in order to unlock the ruins, not like the last time. So next time, we will enter what is probably my favorite dungeon in the whole game. See you then.